Down with Jimmy Cage, equal rights for all of us. Down with Jimmy Cage, equal rights for all of us.
What the heck is this again? And what are you doing in my spot?
This is my manifesto against all you overpowering, capitalistic and corrupt YouTubers that take advantage of us.
Us? Who is us? You know I'm earning almost nothing with this, don't you?
Says you. Down with Jimmy Cage.
Okay, wait. How about this?
Very generous, Jimmy, sir.
Money buys all. Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage.
And I'm Deniz, the Buddymeister. And with today's review, we're back in Malayalam territory.
And we are also back in highly political territory, because 2013's Left, Right, Left combines the stories of three different individuals and the effect that politics have on them. We have a communist leader, a former communist activist who is disappointed by the party's current ways, and a reckless cop.
Left, Right, Left was directed by Arun, Kumar, Aravind and written by Murali Gopi, who also plays the role of the former communist activist Roy Joseph, aka Che Guevara Roy. At his side are Indrajit Sukumaran as the reckless cop PK Jayan, also called Mad Jayan, and Harish Peradi as the communist leader Kaiteri Sahadevan.
The movie opens up with a wonderful exposition in which key moments in the childhood of our three protagonists are presented. Key moments that affected their political thinking and led all of them in the directions that they remained in for the rest of their lives. Those three key moments take place in 1969, 1976 and 1986. Our story then takes place in 2013.
This movie got very good reviews from all sides. It won several awards and by now it's even considered a cult classic. But it was a rough road to that point because the Communist Party did not approve of it, and so box office wise it bombed hard.
So that is obviously one side for which it didn't get a very good review.
That's true. Well, the characters are based on real people and the corruption scandal also took place in reality, which means that some people are of course not happy with that.
What? Corruption in real politics? Never.
Right. So what did you think about Left, Right, Left?
First of all, the acting of our three lead actors is fantastic, especially Indrajit as the ruthless cop Jayan. He has the nickname Mad Jayan because he's a total hothead. He's beating people up, he's corrupt, he's sweating a lot, and he's also a lot of fun to watch, and there's more to him than meets the eye at first. Over the course of the movie he definitely became the most interesting character to me. He's going through change, but he never loses or gives up his true inner self, which was quite fascinating.
Yes, but I also like Murali Gopi as Che Guevara Roy very much. He's the complete opposite of Jayan. He's calm and thoughtful, but also not really in control of his situation, and that's what I liked. He once was this big revolutionist leader, but after an attack on his life, he's more of a shadow of his former self, who needs to find his right path again.
Yeah, we get the least to see from Harish Peradi as Sahadevan, but what we get is pretty nice, although his character is obviously the one that we are not supposed to like, and Peradi portrays him like that. With a deep voice, grim facial expressions and clear-cut gestures.
As we said at the beginning, Left, Right, Left is a very political movie and quite complex at that, especially in its first half. Things get better and more transparent in the second half, but in the course of time, I thought that this movie is really more about its characters, the personal pressure and the psychology behind it, than about all those politics.
You can say that, yes. I guess that is why it didn't quite work for me as a whole. It wasn't able to get me as involved as I wished it would.
I think I know what you mean. It's a bit muddled and uneven, and it more than once seems to be unable to convey the things that it actually wants to convey.
Yes, that's pretty much exactly what I mean. I think this can be partly blamed on the filmmaking and the storytelling. I felt the themes that it's tackling, as well as the characters, where they stand and how their relationships are explored, could have been a lot clearer. If a movie wants to make a big impact, it has to be clear about certain things, both about the content as well as the execution. Oftentimes I wasn't really sure what exactly was going on and what I should take away from certain scenes. Now, that's not meaning that a movie has to spoon-feed every little thing to you, especially films about politics that are directly trying to mirror a certain reality can or should be complex and maybe ambivalent. But with Left, Right, Left, I thought that certain key information were lacking, at least for me.
For me too. I also had a hard time to find the right access to the movie, and that's to a point where it almost got a bit frustrating. It's like, I get what problems these people have, and I also get that they do not know what to do in certain situations, but I just couldn't feel the empathy that I wanted to because I wasn't really in the movie. I could not feel the political heat, at least in some parts, because, as I already mentioned, I like the second half much more when things got more transparent with all the interrelations and things like that.
But of course, and as almost always, it's not just the movie that's to be blamed, it's also ourselves, because this is a film that's directly addressing a regional topic, and I'm simply not really versed in it and its history. So everything was fairly new to me, but it of course was new to the film's intended audience.
Absolutely, yeah. And still, the movie was able to suck me in another way. It definitely looked beautiful. That might be one reason besides the acting. And the 2 or 3 songs were very nice as well. And I was kinda intrigued where everything was leading.
It had this interesting vibe to it that kept me going too. The atmosphere, the local flavor of its setting was a definite highlight for me. From the very beginning, it was clear that Left, Right, Left will be a movie that's able to captivate you with its images and sounds, but then we get Jason Fernandez played by Ahmed Siddiqui.
Yes.
That character felt so misplaced, and he's only in 3 or 4 scenes, I think. But whenever he is, the tone shifts to full-out comedy, and it felt so weird. Especially in one scene where Jennifer Matthews, played by Ramja Nambishan, and he are flirting, or at least he is. She's using him to get something she wants. When the scene ends and she's leaving his office, Jason even begins reading a book about the G-spot. It's really not fitting the tone of the rest of the film.
Yeah, I hated that. It threw me off completely. Jason killed everything that is serious about this movie, and I wanted to kill him. But sadly, there are more elements that felt a bit sloppily integrated in the overall narrative. This whole thing about Jennifer's ex-boyfriend, this drug-addicted, woman-beating, even raping scumbag, it was so much and came so sudden. And it was also such an important part for the overall story to advance further that was just passed by like that.
But I think this is one of many elements where you can feel that Left, Right, Left is not the most grounded realistic political drama, but also has a clear footing in genre cinema. There are pulpy elements like that, there are some brutal but also slightly comical beatings, and there's also one crucial scene where the corrupt politician Zahar Devan is holding a speech just for our good guy Roy Joseph, standing with his back towards him. He's also talking to Roy over the phone earlier and more or less directly announces his plan to murder the ones responsible for revealing his corruption.
The look of the movie also added to that. It sometimes had this exploitation style, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that grainy look and those lush colors.
So, in German we'd say?
Left, Right, Left ist ein politischer Film, bei dem die Politik durch die etwas konfuse Narration und die deplatzierte Komik leider etwas zu kurz kommt. Die Leistungen der 3 Hauptdarsteller und die fantastische Optik machen ihn aber trotzdem sehenswert. I give Left, Right, Left 6 out of 10. It's more like 6.4. But I don't do that.
For me, it's 7 out of 10. It's more like 7.1, but I don't do that either.
We're once again at the end of yet another indie movie review, but we'll be back next week. Until then, you can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram simply at The Jimmy Cage.
And you can hit me up simply at The Buddymeister.
And you know the drill. If you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all we have to tell.